Hey, welcome to my first ever voiceover. I wanted to show you guys how I do my mani step by step, so let's get started. I start by removing my old polish, so before I go in with polish remover, I like to hit my cuticles with a little cuticle oil just to make sure that they don't dry out too much from the acetone. So once I lay down the cuticle oil, I go ahead with polish remover, and I make sure to let that sit on my nails for a few seconds just so that I can sew through the polish, and it makes removal way easier. I also find that it helps prevent the polish from leaving behind color stains on my nails. Once the polish is removed, I go in with cuticle remover. I simply apply that all around my cuticles. This particular variety only has to be left on for about 15 seconds, so as soon as I'm done applying it to all my fingers, I start pushing back my cuticles with my cuticle tool. I make sure to be gentle because I want to be sure that I don't cause any damage to my cuticles or nails. Then I go in with the pointed end of the cuticle pusher and I remove all of the dry skin. I didn't show this next step, but I make sure to wash my hands after I'm done doing this just to get rid of any residue. Next, I go in with cuticle nippers and cut away any hangnails that are left behind. And then it's time to fine-tune the shape of the nails. Now this next step isn't necessary and it might not work for everyone, but I apply a little bit of this nail fortifier before I start my new manicure, and ever since I started doing this I've noticed that it's actually helped prolong the life of my polish. I always start my manis by applying base coat, and this is an absolute must for me because it really helps to keep nail stains to a minimum. I'm not too particular about the way that I apply it. I just like to make sure that it does cover the entire nail, and if it gets on my cuticles a little bit, I don't worry about it. However, I am particular about the way that I apply my polish, and I think the perfect application starts with how much polish you have on your brush. So I make sure that I don't have too much polish by removing it from one side of the brush, and then I use what's left on the other side and apply that to the nail. I start applying my polish by doing one quick stroke quite a bit above the cuticle and then pushing it down as close as I can to the cuticle line. I then use the pointed corner of the brush as a guide to apply polish as close as I can to the side walls of the nail without actually getting it all over the cuticles. Then I spread the remaining polish on the rest of the nail. Not all brushes have a square edge like this one, but I still use the same method with a round brush. I just use the round edge as my guide. For my second coat, I again make sure that there's not too much polish on the brush, and I follow the same steps as I did before, except in order to keep the application as smooth as possible, I don't push the polish to the cuticle. I just begin by applying as close as I can to the edge of my previous coat of polish. Other than that, I apply the polish just like I did earlier. For third coats and toppers, I apply the exact same as I do on the second coat. For top coat, just as before, I make sure that I don't have too much on the brush, and with this I go in even closer to the cuticle. I don't mind if it touches it a bit since it's clear and it's easy to remove. I just like to make sure that it covers all of the polish that's already laid down, especially around the edges. Once top coat is applied, it's time for cleanup. I find that this step is easier when I use a really thin brush, so I just dip my brush in remover, then tidy up edges and any mistakes. For the grand finale, I moisturize. I like to apply oil once more since cleanup involves acetone. I not only moisturize my cuticles, but under the nails as well. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have any tips for easier polish application in the comments. Thanks for watching!